Zillow wants to make selling your home as easy as selling a used car, but will the risk-taking initiative pay off, especially when the company is losing millions in the process? Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, I would really like this video. Please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell notification. We upload videos on a near daily basis, and you will want to be notified of when those videos go up. We do news, commentary, editorials, interviews, podcasts, premieres, all that jazz. So anyway, home buying is an interesting topic for me right now. I have lived in this house for the better part of 10 years. And despite what some of the haters say, no, I'm not living in my parents' basement. I have been renting this home in the Orange County area for a long time. Now, it's not mine. I'm not paying towards it. The fact that I put thousands of dollars in this home and know that I will not own it, yeah, it's a little annoying. But here's the thing. It's way cheaper than an apartment, and, well, it's much more comfortable. But I do have a lot of memories in this home. I've done skits here. I've done a lot of news stories. You've seen me change the room. You've seen me live in the house alone and then have Katie in here, and we've had guest stars. So, you know, there's a lot of history in this room and this house, and I'm gonna miss it. But me and Katie do want to be heading towards buying a home. We will probably, become homeowners within 2 to 4 years, God willing, and should the saving actually work out. And as a result, I've been using Zillow, the website, a lot, and kind of just daydreaming about all the homes we could buy. In fact, interestingly, it was on Zillow that I found out that a home right next to my parents, or at least just down the street, was for sale. And oh boy, if I had the money, I would have just bought that home right there and then, moved back to Sacramento and left this LA lifestyle behind. But here's the thing. Zillow is taking a new initiative on selling homes, and it's losing the company millions, but the CEO says it will pan out. So what are we talking about? So here's the thing. Zillow has long been known as the place to go when you're looking to buy a new home. It's famous for its Zestimate, which uses proprietary algorithms to estimate the current price of your house or your neighbor's if you're feeling nosy. But Zillow decided to shake things up. In April 2018, the company announced it was launching Zillow Offers and would purchase homes directly from sellers, doing any necessary repairs before turning around to resell the house itself. The model, known as instant buying or iBuying, marked a major overhaul for Zillow's core business. Up until then, the company had operated in a purely digital realm, removed from the headlines of owning or renovating actual brick-and-mortar properties. At the company, the dramatic shift is known as Zillow 2.0, and CEO Rich Barton has laid out a bold vision, painting this moment as a new frontier in real estate. He wants Zillow's service to eventually transform the industry so that selling a home is as easy as trading in a car. But first, he warns the companies and his shareholders have to be patient. Now, that's always the famous last words. And granted, he's not completely wrong. There are a lot of financial initiatives that companies do that don't pan out right away. In fact, Amazon famously lost money for 20 years. Now, look at them now. And Netflix continues to lose money, but they're getting really close to making money. And not only that, they have a footprint in Hollywood with their television and movies, their original content that is rivaling that of many major players out there. So sometimes being patient does work. But let's continue. There's a steep learning curve, and so far the company is losing millions every month on the new initiative, but Barton believes the big bet will pay off. Now, why is Zillow shifting course? Today, more agents use Facebook and LinkedIn to market homes than yard signs and open houses, and the market for online real estate ads is valued at $19.9 billion, according to the Borrell Associates, a research group that compiles an annual outlook on the industry. Zillow already captures a good chunk of that market. It brought in $1.3 billion in revenue from online advertising in 2019. Co-founded by Barton in 2005, the company scooped up competing real estate sites like Trulia and StreetEasy over the years. You might have remembered fairly recently when I was talking about eBay. That's how eBay got a hold on their marketplace. They would buy Kijiji and Half.com, and they would either shutter the sites or they would make them part of eBay, and thus you were really only going to eBay. With nearly 200 million monthly users across the site, according to the company, Zillow now operates one of the most trafficked online real estate platforms in the country. So why put it all at risk? In a way, the company was boxed into the decision by smaller, newer competitors. Opendoor launched in 2014 with iBuying at its core offering, followed by OfferPad in 2015. Redfin, meanwhile, has started experimenting with iBuying in 2019. Quote, iBuying was an existential threat to the business, said Mike Del Prete, a real estate tech strategist and scholar in residence at the University of Colorado Boulder. Zillow's whole position is based on being the first place consumers go when they're buying or selling homes. They need to take the oxygen out of the room for anyone else and own the space as fast as they can. This is, by the way, one of the things about capitalism that can be a little unfortunate, is it's a winner-take-all, dog-eat-dog world, and there's this big mentality that you have to be the only game in town. Hey, if there's competitors coming in and they're starting to eat your lunch, you're going to take your sandwich and you're going to go somewhere else, or you're going to squash those little cockroaches. So, I guess that's capitalism for you. I think there's room for multiple sites, but, the companies don't always say that way. As iBuying gained traction on other sites, Del Prete said Zillow ran the risk of losing its competitive edge. But even though many experts feel it was a natural expansion for the company, it still came with a fair amount of risk, particularly because the margins are razor thin. So here's a picture, by the way, that kind of shows you what's going on here. There's a house, and this is a very nice house, by the way, and you see that the sign out front says "Owned by Zillow." So Zillow owns this house. They're the owners. And if you want to buy the house, you got to buy it through Zillow. So this is what they kind of want to do. They not only want to be the premier place where you are advertising your home on the site, but they want you, if possible, they want to buy your house. They will look at the house, they will look at the estimates, and they will buy the house, and they will take care of the repairs. Now that's the thing. Like, if you have a house that looks nice on the outside and Zillow's estimate ranks it at this much, but other places rank it at this much because they've actually inspected the house, they looked at the cost of repair and renovation, and they're like, this is how much we're going to give you, it might be better to go to Zillow. And Zillow will then fix up the house and sell it themselves. Now, here's the risk on Zillow's part. Just because it looks nice on the outside doesn't mean it's nice on the inside. Like I'm gonna throw my parents under the bus, for example, just for a second. My parents' house is overall very nice. I love that house, and it looks great on the outside. But you go in, and there was like a little water leak, so the ceiling looks a little discolored, and that's gonna have to be taken care of at some point. They're working on it, by the way. And so Zillow can use their Zestimate and say, this is how much the house is worth. But it's not looking inside the house, factoring in those repairs. And had my parents decide to sell like 6 months ago, and they're not selling the house now, but if they decided to sell the house 6 months ago, there would have been a bad water heater that would have needed to be replaced. So, there's a lot of extra expenses there. So this is where the risk comes in. On the other hand, you have some people who they have perfectly fine houses, and the plumbing is good. There's no strange colors in the ceilings. There's no nothing. It's a perfectly fine house. They just want to sell it right away and get on with their lives. So they're gonna just sell it on they'll sell it to Zillow. And then what happens? Well, hey, they need a house at this point. Well, maybe they'll just use Zillow while they're at it. Heck, they could probably even just trade it in for credit if they want, and get a huge down payment on the next house. So there's a lot of ways that this could be good for the consumer, and there's a lot of ways this could be good for Zillow, because if Zillow does this and they pull it off, I could see a system where it's like they are controlling advertising for houses, they are buying the houses, and they are selling the houses, and they've kind of created like a little circle, a little monopoly, if you will. And for homeowners that have like nice looking outsides of the houses, but it needs a lot of repair, well then, hey, guess what? They can just sell it, and the repairs are on Zillow. And if there's nothing wrong with the house, and Zillow's giving you a good estimate, they might be giving you like a couple $100,000 less, but hey, you could sell it right away, and you can move right away. Like, that's a huge thing. So, as it says like right here, selling digital ads next to real estate listings is one thing, but selling homes is a whole different ballgame. It is. So as Mark Mahoney says, it's pretty unusual to have this kind of business model change for a public company. It's such a risky move. It probably helped that Rick was the one coming in to help do it. He has an enormous amount of credibility. For Barton, that credibility comes from an entrepreneurial success streak. Not only did he rapidly scale up Zillow during his first stint as CEO, but he also founded Expedia and co-founded Glassdoor. He's not afraid of taking big swings. And you know what's also interesting about this whole thing? I kind of wonder what this is going to do for people who flip houses. You know, the people who go and they buy homes personally and then they fix them up and they flip them. I mean, this might do some real damage to that little side business, because Zillow would probably offer more than what the home flipper is going to buy them for, and Zillow has deep pockets to restore them in ways that a regular person can't. I kind of wonder, I really do wonder what this is going to do for me and Katie when we decide to buy a house in the near future. Well, the near future is like 2 to 4 years away, of course, so, you know. But this is going to be fascinating to watch. Now, I'm curious, what does Zillow's stock look? Zillow stock. What does the stock look like? The stock is at $65. It's yeah, it's kind of been doing good. It's a little, yeah, it's, so what's the max? I'm kind of curious. Yeah, so it's kind of going up. You know what I'm going to do? Because I'm doing the whole stock buying thing on Robinhood, the series, which there should be another video about that tomorrow, by the way. I will probably invest in Zillow. I'm going to keep an eye on the company, but if they start going down a little bit, I'm definitely going to be buying some, because I think this is a interesting idea, and I think they could do very well with it. By the way, I'm not saying you should buy Zillow stock. I always have to let you know that. I'm just thinking it might do well. So here's the thing. How's it going to work? Well, here's how it's going to work. Homeowners are going to come to Zillow to check their Zestimate. If they're in a price range and location where Zillow sees an opportunity to buy, they can click a button and fill a few basic facts about the home. Photos are optional but not required. That's going to be abused, by the way. Within 48 hours, Zillow gives initial offer, which is a combination of human and machine, according to Emily Hefter, Zillow's Director of Corporate Communications. She said Zillow makes initial calculation with the data it has on hand and uses broker partners in the city to make sure it's an appropriate offer. If the homeowner likes this offer, Zillow sends an employee, not a licensed inspector, to look at the house in person. Then Zillow makes an adjusted offer, which takes into account any repairs the house needs. Okay, so that, I guess that they do look inside the house at some point. That would have been really stupid if they didn't. If homeowners accept the offer, they can choose a closing date between 7 and 90 days in the future. Hefter said the entire offer process doesn't take more than a week. Barton stressed that Zillow's goal is to provide a fair price that gives sellers a get-out-of-jail-free card, allowing them to move to their next venture without being stuck in their current home waiting for it to sell. Which is true. You know, sometimes you put your home on the market. I have friends whose parents wanted to move to Washington, and they put their house on sale, and they wanted to move to Washington before Christmas. But the house didn't sell, so they just kept waiting and waiting. Eventually, they decided to stay one more Christmas, and then they kind of fire sold the house. They put a huge discount on it, and then it sold right away. So that is a problem. In November, Zillow published a study that looked at 3,200 homes where the seller had declined a Zillow offer and went on to sell their home the traditional way. The final sale price was an average of just 0.22% more than the initial Zillow offer, something the company uses to underscore Barton's point. Their offers are market rate. That is also why Barton takes issue with the word flipping when referring to Zillow offers. Quote, "We're providing a service to sellers. The flip term has embedded in it some negative connotations around taking advantage of people in distressed situations and making outside profits. That's not where we're going." And by the way, if you want to see a movie that kind of shows just how flipping can get out of hand, check out the movie 99 Homes with Michael Shannon and Andrew Garfield. That's a really good movie. So anyway, this is going to be very, very interesting. Now, there's a lot of talk in this article about, how the dangers of this, and, so I'm going to link to the article below. You can read the whole thing on your own time. But this is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how it changes the housing market. There's so many things that's changed the housing market. Airbnb, stable economy, a lot of people moving to California, which is why we might not be staying in California. Also, I'm getting a little tired of the extremists here. I pass a protest every single day, and it's just not fun anymore. But anyway, that's where we're going to leave that one. What do you think about this, though? Are any of you planning on buying a home anytime soon? If you were, would you buy from Zillow? And if you have a home, would you consider selling it to Zillow? you think this is going to be like a big thing? I would really like to know what your thoughts on, because this is just interesting to me. So you know the drill. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.